Alright, so I watched 2026's Michael opening night, and yeah, due to being a two-parter, it suffers quite a bit. Me personally, I would have loved to have waited for the full finished product and either watch the story as a series or a 4-hour plus movie. Like, I'm not the biggest follower of Michael Jackson's life, but even I'm aware of how many things he went through, whether it was good, bad, or ugly. He went through a lot throughout his entire life, and look, I do not care about seeing him deal with the SA allegations. What I care about is seeing Michael Jackson's full, real story. He is very obviously one of the most famous people to ever live, but this film really didn't emphasize those crazy achievements and events that happened early in his career and life. Like, most of his great achievements and struggles were given only a singular line or shot referencing them, or the events were just not even mentioned at all, because again, I don't know everything about Michael Jackson's life, and they skip past events that even I know about. So what was the story about instead? They made Joseph Jackson the only problem that Michael ever dealt with in the entire movie. And Joseph was a bad person, but I don't think he was horrible enough in the movie to be the main antagonist the entire time like a Colonel or like a Jerry Heller. Plus, a lot of this movie, they chose to instead really focus on how wacky Michael can be, like with all his animals he had or the obsession with Neverland, which sure, obviously did happen, but is that really the most important thing about Michael's life that they need to spend so much time on? No. And look, I get that it was a real person's life where so much happened and you could just not fit everything in a single film. But I still think I'm justified with my concern over the fact that they gave a whole scene about his nose surgery, yet they only gave his vitiligo diagnosis, arguably one of the most impactful situations that ever happened to him that rose so much unwarranted backlash, just a singular line of dialogue in the movie. That huge issue in his life just scraped completely under the rug. Like, this film just sped past so many huge events and much more interesting relevant struggles just so that they can make Michael vs. Joseph the movie. Now, that being said, there were still many moments in the film where I admittedly did still have a great time, mainly due to Jafar Jackson's performance as his uncle. He was perfect. Watching Jafar Jackson's performance as Michael Jackson was the closest I'll probably ever feel to actually watching Michael Jackson perform, which obviously will never be anywhere near close to the real thing, but you get what I mean. Plus, watching Michael's rise to fame and adulthood was very interesting, and watching him fully commit to bringing his ideas and his vision to life in his music and life was so fascinating. But again, even though I don't know too much about Michael Jackson's life, when I watch a biopic, I still want to actually learn the true story, or at least get the inside look and details of some of the person's most incredible and important events. So when this film purely focused on the conflict with his dad over some actual more important aspects of his career, it made me worried knowing that the next film takes place after 1988, wherein he does even bigger things and goes through even worse situations. So will they also skip a lot of that stuff in the sequel too, or are they actually going to have him go through all those controversies in that one movie? Regardless, whether the sequel is dishonest or honest and depressing, I don't have the highest hopes for the second part given the quick pacing and the structure of this film. And again, it's not a bad film in the slightest, and I'd recommend others check it out because it's at the very least very entertaining. But given the fact that I was hoping to learn about Michael's real life, I can't bring myself to give this movie a higher rating than an average 7 out of 10.